Okay, so we are live now. Good afternoon, our audience. Thank you for joining us today. As we said, we have our guest right with us here in the studio, in the person of Mr. Albert Prempe Kusi, the founder of LEC Group. He's here with us and he wants to share some pristine points on how to devise your personal strategy to create wealth. So before we move on, this is how the presentation is going to look like. In the first place, we are going to have a short interview with Mr. Albert Prempe Kusi. Then after, we are going to have him to share on with us on his topic, which is devising personal strategy for wealth creation. So, Mr. Albert, you are welcome.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, Albert, financial literacy is something that is of importance to us in Africa. And I want to know your view. Do you think that financial literacy is a bedrock to build a very good economy in Ghana and Africa?
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Once again, thank you for having me and a good afternoon to all your listeners and those watching us on Facebook. Having a financial literacy is great for a country in our quest to build the economy because when the whole economy revolves around finances. So you need the people to understand how to make money, how to manage it, and how to grow it. These three things I believe are extremely critical for every economy to be able to grow and become better. How to make it, how to spend it, and how to grow it. So with these three things, I strongly believe financial literacy is critical in building every economy.
Wow, that's great. It's critical in building every economy. And so, Mr. Albert, with our financial system in Ghana, do you think that we are getting along in terms of development as compared to the outside world, like the Europe, the US, and all that? Do you think that our financial system is really going on that pace to catching up with them?
I think there is still more work to be done. I think we've come a long way, and I strongly believe there's so much more work to be done. So, I mean, we are not there yet, but there still needs to be a lot of work, even right from the basic schools to the senior high schools to the universities to the working environment, where people will need to understand what financial literacy simply means and what they can do at whichever level they find themselves to be able to manage, as I said, make the money, manage the money, and also grow the money. So I think there is still more work, but a lot has been done, and a lot more needs to be done in that regard.
Okay, okay. I think that it's rightly said. And moving right away from that, I think that you are someone who is so passionate about the youth, and then you are making more impact. You've spoken to over 5,000 audience in tertiary institutions, in other programs, and all that. You have a very new book that is trending in Ghana now, and I want you to just give us a gist about it before we move on to our next question.
Okay, so my new book is 10 Lessons in 33 Years. It actually captures my lessons in my life journey. I would say more of a biography, but basically it talked about the critical lessons that have shaped my life and how I would like other young people to tap into that wisdom. In the book, I talk about an investment mentality, and I strongly believe that because I was able to get that basics very early in life, it helped shape my thinking when it comes to money. I thought about mentorship, and also because I was privileged to be mentored by someone, and I've seen the impact it has made in my life. So it's all about letting people understand that you can become whoever you want to be but there are lessons of life you need to learn. And if you are guided by these lessons, you can only become what God created you to be. So it just helps you to avoid the mistakes. It helps you to avoid the errors that others have made. So looking at my own life, and if I'm excited about how far I have come, then I strongly believe that these were the 10 critical things that defined me, that shaped me over the last 33 years.
Awesome, awesome. So Albert, your journey of life has been awesome. I'm actually also a beneficiary of one of your programs back in UCC, and I've seen the kind of lives that you have touched. I want to see now you have been able to climb the career ladder to a point where many of us aspire to get there. So you are a CEO now. We don't have any school of CEO. I mean, there's no school that will teach you how to become a CEO, but you have been able to do that. What are some of the three main lesson or three main advice you are going to give to somebody who is aspiring to get there? Then we move straight into your presentation.
Yes, so just as I said, over the last 13 years, I've impacted close to about 300,000 young people across the country, not only in Ghana,
Wow.
but also in Nigeria and Liberia, with various interventions and various programs and activities. But even more importantly, it's about the book, as you clearly mentioned. For me, that in your quest to get to the top, one of the things that for me is key is mentorship. Mentorship. Regardless of what you know, regardless of how far you have come, your ability to subject yourself under a mentor is critical for your growth and development. So I was fortunate enough that when I started my journey of impacting people, I got somebody who was my mentor, somebody I could look up to, and that's Reverend Albert Okran. And looking up to Albert Okran, working with him, listening to him, I learned so much. I mean, there was so much lessons that I learned. So becoming a CEO, I do not find it extremely difficult because I believe in leadership is an opportunity to serve. And even in the book, I talk about service. So when you are willing to serve others, when you are willing to lead by example, then it will become a bit much more easier for you when a mantle is bestowed on you. And also, I believe that leadership is not only about titles and positions. So I don't really believe about titles. So I mean, even 13 years ago, I was the CEO for LEC, and we started a very small organization, but I was inspired about the fact that we still kept doing things right. We still kept documents, knew how to relate with the big people out there, knew how to connect with them, knew how to get funding from institutions to fund our programs. And all the things that I am doing now, sometimes I say, I'm just applying the things I learned over the last 13 years. So walking that journey of starting an organization, being the founder, being the CEO, 13 years down the lane, when you are being made a CEO of a financial institution, you are just applying the same principles, the same lessons, and working on the same path. And even throughout my working journey on working with various institutions, all I sought to do was to learn one or two things from these organizations. I always say every organization taught me something. And I've been beneficiary where I've worked with about 10 institutions in 10 years since I left school.
Wow.
Each of these 10 institutions taught me a lesson in life. Each of these 10 institutions have defined who I am and how I do things now. So I come into a position like this, benefiting from 10 various organizations, their story, their culture, their corporate strategy, how they sought to do things, how things were done, and applying a bit of each in building a solid organization. And that is why I want to encourage every young person listening that regardless of where you find yourself, seek to learn. Seek to learn. I'm a learner. I learn very quickly. I've been to organizations even for 3 months, and people were surprised why I was leaving after 3 months. I've left after 3 months because then I had learned all what I wanted to learn. So I go into organizations typically to learn. So if my learning journey is a year I'll be away. If my learning journey will take me 3 years, I'll be there for 3 years. If my learning journey will take me for 6 months, 6 months, I'm gone. And people didn't really understand, but it was because of the kind of a life I wanted to build, the kind of culture I wanted to build, and the kind of organizations I wanted to lead. It was important that I go in and learn from how things were done. And so for me, I would say these 10 years have been a period of internship. Yes, I know I've been in very high level positions in some of Ghana's finest organizations, but for me, it was all about internship. And so I was willing to submit, and if you can understand the word internship, then it means regardless of my title, I was willing to come down as the commoner in that organization. I was willing to work with my bosses, and without feeling that, oh, I'm also a CEO from another organization, therefore I want to rub shoulders with them. No, I've read about the 48 laws of power, which says never outshine the master. So I don't go to organizations and proclaim I'm a CEO of LEC. I go to organizations and present as if I don't even know anything. In that way, it helped me to learn so much that by the time I walk out, I don't just walk away, but I walk away with so much lessons that would help me build other organizations even much more better. So I just want to encourage every young person that sometimes when graduates even complete school and they are done with their national service and they are home looking for a job, and you ask them to come and do internship and they'll tell you, oh no, I'm looking for a full-time job. I have been doing internships over the last 10 years after school. Yes. So just to let you know that I'm using that word internship because I have never bargained for a salary. I have never bargained for a salary. I have never resisted opposition or leadership at the top. So I remember one of my 2 last previous jobs, after showing the appointment letter to one of my former bosses, he felt that the company was cheating me. So I should go in for negotiation. And I said, no, he didn't get me. Seeing myself as an intern, how do I go in and bargain for a salary? I didn't see myself as an expert in the field, even though I was going to head a team that needed an expert in that field. So I have never bargained for salary increment. I have never asked for a salary raise. I have not bargained. I have always gone into interviews subjecting myself to the rules. I have always gone into companies subjecting myself to the rules and regulations that govern the organization. And in doing that, it made me learn so much. It didn't take my title away from me. Even when people come in and they start calling me CEO, I said, hey, I beg you, I'm in somebody's organization. I'm not a CEO here. So I was careful what I do. Everything I did was clearly calculated. Calculated. I remember a time where I was supposed to launch a magazine, and my company's idea was that I should be the cover page for the magazine. And the board has agreed, management has agreed, but I told them no. Because just as at the time that we were about to launch the magazine, I've entered a new organization. So I sought to project that CEO more than me. I said to, and they didn't understand. They thought that, oh no, I have all what it takes, and they wanted to project their CEO. I said, no, if your CEO is willing to go do internship somewhere, then I want to subject myself to a higher authority. And that is what many young people do not know. There are people that have gone ahead of us. There are people that have walked the journey. There are people that have built experiences over time. The best we can do as young people is to subject ourselves to their authority. It's not to rub shoulders with them. It's not to feel we've also arrived, but to say, regardless of what we have achieved, we can keep learning from them, and we can keep getting better, and we can keep avoiding their mistakes in our quest to make better. And that is what even inspired me to come out with the book, 10 Lessons in 33. And I want to encourage everybody watching this to get a copy of that book. It is extremely amazing. And I shared real lessons. I mean, as I said, somebody walks into your office and says, hey, CEO. I say, hey, keep quiet. You can't say it here. They say, no, but you are my CEO. I said, no, not under this environment. Even on social media, I'm careful what I post. Depending on which organization that I am working for. I don't just post because I want to post. I post understanding that, okay, should my boss see it? Will my boss feel threatened? Will my boss feel I'm not giving the company my full time? I am guided. And in life, you need to be guided in your choices and in your decisions. And you must have a spirit of gratitude. It's also one thing I learned. And for me, I think my life is a life of gratitude where I appreciate the little I learned from my bosses. So regardless of what I bring to the table, I always project them as the people who have made me who I am. But those who know me know me and what I have become and knows what defines my thinking. But if I have an opportunity to be with you, Ben, and I work with you or work with you for a month, I will project you and make you feel you have made me who I am. And in doing that, it doesn't take anything away from me. It just helps you to even teach me more. It helps you to give me certain opportunities that others may not give me because they feel threatened or they feel I'm not acknowledging their effort. I want to advise every young person listening that acknowledge people that have gone ahead of you. The life journey is not a one-time thing. It's a long journey. It's a long journey. So let's take our time. Let's not rush into doing things. People come to me and said, oh, they want to organize programs, and they said, oh, they want to go to 10 regions. I said, no, you can't do it 10 regions, because I didn't start with 10 regions. I started with one. In fact, I did one for 5 years.
Yeah.
I did one for 5 solid years before I moved to 2, before I moved to 5, before I moved to 10, 20, and now 30 and beyond. Now I have gained so much experience that I can organize conferences across the world. Why? Because you must understand foundation. If you don't build your foundational basis well and you start with 5, then what are you going to start with? Your next will be 10. And if you can't do the 10, people would feel that then you are failing and you've not gotten there yet. But it's just because you didn't understand your beginnings. I want to encourage everyone listening to me that understand humble beginnings. Start small. My first conference was in Prempeh College in 2007.
Okay.
It was just an opportunity to speak to young prefects at that level. It was from that small program that we decided that, okay, what can we do for the university students where I was a student? Then we started Success Conference with a speaker who is going to be my guest 13 years down the lane on radio, Reverend Dr. Joyce Aye, and I'll be hosting it at 5 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. And you could see meeting her then 13 years ago as CEO of Ghana Chamber of Mines. Now, Ben, it will amaze you to know that she happens to be the board chairman of HMI Management Services. We have come again to work in another relationship here. And it was one of the things, and I'm not just, I would say, I'm not just a CEO of HMI. I'm a shareholder of the company. I actually own a part of the company. Yes. So it tells you that, and one of the things that inspires me even to own that part of the company was her, because I knew her 13 years ago. And I've invited her. She had come to Cape Coast to be part of my program, Success Conference. Then 30 years down the lane, an opportunity presents itself, and you have to own a company, and you look at the people behind the company, and you find out that, oh, this is the same woman I knew 13 years ago. It must tell you that life is a lifelong journey. Let's not rush. I see many people, young people rushing. Many people rushing to get things done. No, let's take it one step at a time. People ask me, how do you get sponsors? And I say, I didn't start with sponsors. Even my whole sponsorship ideas is not the ordinary one. So I don't typically go to companies and ask for money. I go to companies asking them the kind of synergy we can build and what my audience will benefit from. So it's not every company that comes to my platform and gives me money. But so far as when they come, they will be of need to my audience, then why not? Why can't we allow them to come on board? And that has helped me to understand a lot of things. That has helped me to be able to gain access to the corridors of power, because where people felt that I should be asking for 10,000, I asked for 500 cities. Because regardless of whether they come or not, I will still do the program anyway. So, and I knew a time will come, then we can sit at the top level and negotiate. But in my beginnings, I can't negotiate. I don't have the power. What am I bargaining on? What is my negotiation skills at that level? So even when these brands, and I remember a company like former Kasapa was my first company that sponsored me. And it will amaze you, all they gave me was t-shirts. And you have no idea how those t-shirts increased my audience by about 500 more people. So as a sales expert, what I tell people in sales is that in sales, you must be able to understand your product. You must understand who you are developing the product for and connect the two So it's not just about you, your organization, and what you want. What does your audience want? Little did I know that people would come into our ticket sales table and say, I am buying the ticket because of the t-shirt that you are giving me. That means that I don't need Kasapa to only give me money. I need them to give me t-shirts. But somebody also tell you that, oh, why go for t-shirts when you are publicizing the company and you're not publicizing yourself? You are not understanding your audience. You are not understanding your customer base, their demographics, what they want, and what will connect to them. So, I mean, I can go on and on and on, but just to simply say there is more to learn. Let's take time to build. The life journey is long. We would be back here speaking on this platform maybe 10 more years, 20 more years to come, 30 more years or 50 more years to come if God continuously grants us life. Therefore, we must take it one step at a time.
Wow, that's great. That's loads of lesson and wisdom nuggets there. Albert, we are so grateful for this nuggets you are giving us this afternoon. It's very important, as you said, mentorship. And then everywhere you go, you have to just lay low, humble yourself, and then keep on learning. You don't need to rub shoulders because you're also a CEO of another company. I think my audience, these are great nuggets that we can jot down and then we can use right in life. So we are moving straight away, and then Albert is going to speak on how you can develop your own personal strategy to create wealth. But before that, audience, I would like to say that you are welcome once again, and you are with us on Money Read Business and Finance Summit Facebook page. This is our anniversary webinar. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, any submission, you can type it right down there in the comment section, and we are going to take it one after the other for Mr. Albert Kusi to answer them. So Albert, you have 30 minutes. Now, developing personal strategy for wealth. What do you have for us?
Okay, thank you very much once again. And I would like to make it very simple and brief to the point. So what does the topic say is wealth creation, devising your own personal strategy. And I begin by saying you must first understand what wealth creation means to you. You out there listening to me must have your own understanding of what wealth creation means to you. Because for some people, wealth creation means having 10 cars and not having a house. For some people, wealth creation means having 5 cars, 5 houses, and ability to fly around the world. So your ability, for some people also, wealth creation means having $1 million in their bank account. For some people, wealth creation means having children and being able to take care of their children, and their children's children are doing well, as is said in the Bible that you need to leave an inheritance for your children's children. So I begin this conversation by saying each and every one of you listening to me this afternoon must be able to understand and define what wealth creation means to you. Don't feel pressured. Don't feel society expects you to get to a certain level. If you have your own understanding of wealth creation, I strongly believe it will define what you do. It will define how you make certain choices and decisions in the course of life. The other thing I'll also say is that, but simply in the very simple terms, wealth creation means ability to buy what you want to buy without incurring unnecessary debt. Let me go scriptural. When you read Proverbs 21:20, it says, there is desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it. There's a desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it. When you read Proverbs 21:5, it says, plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty, but those of everyone who is hasty surely to poverty. You must be able to understand these principles and allow it to guide you in your steps in creating wealth for yourself. So if you have been able to clearly define what wealth creation means to you, then you can work with me on this journey. So I will be sharing with you 10 critical steps after being able to identify what wealth creation means to you. And that is very practical. Today, sit down at the end of this presentation and ask yourself, when we say wealth creation, how do you want to perceive it? Is it having good health? Is it having $1 million? Is it having 10 cars, 5 houses, flying around, being married with children? You must define it your own way. Don't feel pressure to live under certain standards of society. That is not wealth creation. And that is not you devising your personal strategy. The first step in this whole process is number 1, plan your finances based on your strategy. So, Benjamin, it simply means that if you have been able to come to a point where you say, okay, wealth creation means to me that I want to be worth $1 million by age 40, and I'm 20, let's say I'm 20, then it means you have 20 more years to accomplish that goal. And that is why it's important to have your own goal or your own expectation. If wealth creation means you need to have 1,000 Ghana cedis by the age of 30 and you are 29, then it means you've been able to define what wealth creation means to you. That is why my first point says, plan your strategy, plan your finances based on your strategy. If you have set such an audacious goal for yourself, it will define what you eat, it will define what you buy, it will define how you spend money. Somebody will not be pushing you around and say, invest, 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 when you don't clearly understand why you need to invest. Because for you, you believe that there will always be excess and money will always be at your disposal. And that is why I begin by saying you need to plan your finance based on your strategy that you have developed for yourself. Point number 2, you need a financial coach and an advisor. After being clear about what you want to achieve or what wealth creation means to you or how much you want to make by a certain age, by a certain years, now there are people in the financial industry that have been groomed and coached to offer you financial advice, because then they can let you know that you don't need, let's say, in 3 months, you cannot double your income in 3 months, because if you want to double your income, you can't do that in 3 months, because, for example, the financial products in the market will not help you double your income in 3 months. That would be a scam. You can only double your income if you are looking for to invest for, let's say, minimum 5 years or more. So you need to have somebody who is well grounded in finances, who can guide you with your plan. He will even let you know, is it possible? What are all the variables saying? Is it possible to achieve this goal that you've set for yourself within the specified time that you've set the goal for yourself? You need a mentor to guide you in your financial choices. The point number 3 says, you must understand the point of cutting down on your expenses and investing, and begin to treat investments as an expense, and don't only invest after spending. People would normally invest after spending, but when you begin to treat investment as an expense, it means if you are paid 2,000 Ghana cedis at the end of the month, when you pay your tithe 10%, 200 cedis, you would say, okay, let me invest 500 cedis before I begin to think about all the bills at home. You can't take care of all the bills at home and ignore your long-term goal or strategy of creating wealth. So treat investments as an expense and cut down on your expenses. Point number 4 says you need to have that minimum 3 investment accounts. There's a 3 investment accounts everybody must have, regardless of where you find yourself. And the first one is an emergency investment account. This is an emergency account where, as and when you need the funds, you can have access to it. Should somebody fall sick at home, you can pick funds from that account and quickly ride the person to the hospital. You also need a project investment account that I call the goal saver account. For the goal saver account, it simply means if I have a goal of doing an MBA program, currently I want to do a doctorate program. If I want to do a doctorate program by January 2021, and it's costing me 20,000 Ghana cedis. How much do I need to invest in order to reap good returns by January to be able to go and do my PhD? You must be guided. So set goals for yourself, and what can help you or not help you achieve those goals will be money. So for some people, their inability to achieve their dreams is not because they are not talented, it's not because they are not skilled, but it's because they don't have the means. But what they simply forget is that you can actually spend time in crafting that need, in getting that money, in working your way through to a point where you have accumulated what you need to start what you want to start. So you need a goal investment account. You also need a retirement account because everybody will retire one day. But what I normally say at this point is that you must define what retirement means to you. What I mean by that is that not everybody will retire at age 60. For some people, they want to retire at 40. They want to retire at 50. They want to retire at 35. If you are able to clearly define what retirement means to you, it will guide your financial mindset. I want to retire at 45. Retiring at 45 means I have about 10 or 12 more years to work. It means I can't spend money on shoes, clothing, and not meet that goal by 45. So not everybody retires at 60. Even if you want to retire at 60, how are you planning to ensure that by age 60, you can comfortably enjoy the good things of life without incurring necessary debts? The fifth point says, you must be willing to start small. Regardless of how big, audacious your goals may be, your willingness to start small will be a key pointer. Imagine a maize farm, and we are excited about harvesting a maize farm. But the interesting thing about a maize farm is that you go into that farm, it was just a small seed that was put in the soil, and it just grows and blossoms to feed thousands of families. What it means is that if after listening to today's conversation, you can begin investing by, let's say, with 50 Ghana cedis, with 20 cedis. Yes, your goal is big, it's 10,000 in 1 year, and you are starting with 20. Start small. If the discipline is built over time, it will not become very difficult to grow that 50 cedis to 100 cedis to 1,000 cedis over the period to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. So the point says, start small. The next point says, in investing, you must be able to assess your risk level. Assessing your risk level also simply means that you must know the various types of risk and know what kind of person are you. I mean, risk level is just like saying, what is your personality type? And Benjamin, I know you agree with me that we have people who are sanguines, who are melancholy, who are phlegmatic, and the rest. It's the same way for risk. It's the same way for risk. Are you a high risk taker? Are you a low risk taker? Are you a medium risk taker? And I strongly believe, I will do the research, but I strongly believe that based on your personality trait, it would define the kind of investments you do. Because some of the personality types, like cholerics and sanguines, they quickly make friends and they are easy to go and they can make decisions without even thinking through the process. You must know your personality type and assess your risk level so that you don't make investment choices that which you cannot handle the pain or the difficulty or the frustration that comes with it. The 7th point says that don't be greedy. The fact that you are 20 listening to me, the fact that you are 25 listening to me, the fact that you are 30 listening to me, and you have a zero bank account doesn't mean use all the wrong means to acquire wealth for yourself. Because wealth built over time is far more better than wealth built at once. And you see a lot of people win lottery, a lot of people win competitions, yet their life doesn't get better because they made this wealth overnight. Wealth made overnight does not sustain. It's wealth that is made over time. Why? Because when you read the book of Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy says that it is the Lord your God that giveth thee power to make wealth. What it simply means is that if you are making wealth which is not spiritually grounded with the word of God, that wealth will wither away and you become poor. Therefore, don't seek to be corrupt. Don't dupe people just because you want to create wealth for yourself. Always be guided that the Lord your God is the only one that can give you power to make wealth. And your prayers must be that he must guide you and help you to make the best of choices. So you could see that during the Corona period, you've watched this announced video where people were selling PPEs. In their mind's eye, they wanted to accumulate a certain wealth, taking advantage of the situation. Yet they were caught. You could see people living on the streets of Accra, Kumasi, wherever, selling face masks at certain prices, taking advantage of the environment. It is not the God kind of wealth. The God kind of wealth is little by little, one step at a time, gradually before you get there. And that is why when a child is born, the child must first crawl, the child must first climb gradually before he begins to walk. So when you start that journey and you understand that principle, you will not be interested in get rich quick options. You will always look for options that builds people. And I strongly believe that when you solve a problem, money becomes the end result. Let me just add that in our conferencing space, people came in and thought that we were making money. When they entered the space, they only realized that you have to cost so much than you get. And when they realized it, they backed out. Why? They didn't understand the backstage. They were inspired by the front stage, which says 10,000 people is in the room. If everybody pays 10 cedis, it's 10,000. Hey, he's rich. But you don't know about the auditorium. You don't know about lights out, generator. And I remember in some of the years of Doomsaw, we needed to buy generator to run conferences. Your mindset, even in starting a business, supposed not to be about the money you would make. Otherwise, if your mindset in going to the hotel industry business, for example, was to make money, and you launched in December, March, COVID is here, are you going to shut down? Because you are going to deal with losses for about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. Your ability to deal with the losses shows that you came into the business to help and not for the money. MTN had to deal with losses when they started with the mobile money. Little did they know that 11 years down the lane, MTN mobile money will make them so much money, even more than their regular calls and data. What it tells you is that depending on your mindset, it will define how things span out and how things work for your good. The step number 8 or point number 8 says, if you are thinking that, okay, Albert, so for me working, how do I create wealth? When I'm working, I'm a national service person, they are paying me 500 cedis, they are paying me 300 cedis. Is it also possible? I'll say yes. It's possible for you, that young person, earning a meager salary to create wealth, because you must be able to tap into your skills and your experiences and your talents, your gifts. What are you passionate about? What do you like to do? What inspires you? If you are able to create opportunities for people around these things, you are likely to create wealth from it. So my 8 point says, create multiple streams of income. Yes, you have your regular job. Can you write a book? Can you do an article for someone? Can you become an editor? Can you be on radio? Can you be on TV? I would say my ability to create wealth for myself as a personal strategy is based on this principle of creating multiple streams of income. So I do too many things. I consult for organizations. I do HR recruitment for organizations. I do sales strategy for companies. I write books. I do ghostwriting. I do event management. I do investments, even for companies, even for my competitors. I do too many things. Your ability to expand yourself and do too many things is what can help you make a CD at each of the things you do, and not putting all your profit on one person to pay you a certain amount. Point number 9, diversify your investment portfolio. When you begin to think about investments and you begin that journey, don't put all your financial eggs in one basket. Don't put all your money in one organization. So people come to me, even as a CEO of an investment bank, and they are sometimes amazed how, in our quest to help them craft their financial plan, I'll advise them to put money in, let's say, X company, give me put money in Y company, and maybe my own being the Z company. Some of them would think that I would say, bring all your money to Z. I said, no. Put some in X, put some in Y, then you put some in Z, which is my own. So devising or diversifying your investment portfolio is critical, and every good financial advisor must be able to speak the truth. So the person's investment is 1,000 cedis. I should be able to tell the person that, hey, put 500 at Data Bank, put 200 at, let's say, EcoBank EDC, and give me HMI 300. Your ability to say that, even as a consultant, tells how you are separating yourself from the business and how you are seeking for the person's interest. The Bible says in Philippians, do not seek for your own interest, but seek for the interest of others. My final point that I will leave you is that you need to be able to guide your financial journey with a budget. Have a budget for a day, a budget for a month, a budget for a year, and know how you are increasing your revenues and reducing your expenses. So I would say everybody is an accountant. Everybody is doing the accounts principle. Don't only be debiting yourself, be crediting yourself as much as you can. So whilst you are debiting yourself and you receive an alert and it's like 10 cedis debit for SMS alert, 20 cedis debit because you bought a shoe, 50 cedis debit because you bought airtime. Think about it. How do I credit this account? So let me write this book. If I sell one, I am crediting myself. If I'm able to help somebody on a project, I'm crediting myself. If I'm able to help somebody organize an event, I'm crediting myself. Credit yourself more than you debit yourself. And that is why I agree with Professor Stephen Adair's 3-level investment strategy. He says, pay God, pay your bills, and pay yourself. Pay God your tithes, pay your bills, your food, shelter, clothing, home. But most importantly, you must pay yourself. And the only way you can pay yourself is by investing. With these steps, I strongly believe it can walk you through a journey of devising a personal strategy for yourself. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Albert Prempeh Kusi. These are solid steps, 10 solid steps that everybody can actually use in their financial life. It's very important for us to seek more of this advice from experts like Albert Prempeh Kusi, who works as a CEO with HMI Management Service. And I think these points are very pristine. They are something that you cannot get anywhere apart from this platform. So, audience, I believe you have learned a lot. For me, I've learned so much. I've learned so much, and so I've put some points down. I put in all the 10 points down, and I've even put in the last part that you said from Professor Dimension. Pay God. That is the first step, and then you have to pay your bills. Then the third one is to pay yourself. It's very, very, very important. So at this juncture, if you are listening to us, if you are watching, wherever you are, thank you so much for allowing us into your homes. If you have any question, please type it in the comment section, and then we are going to read it to Albert, because in a few minutes, Albert is supposed to be on air. He's going to have his program, Class FM. So you can even join him there. But for now, quickly type in your question, and then let him also answer you, and then you have a way forward. So Albert, maybe my question for you before you go. My question for you before you go is in diversification. In diversification, you talked about diversifying your investment portfolio, diversifying your investments. Now, somebody who earns, let me see, 1,000 Ghana cedis, he's paying his rent, he's paying his bills, he's taking up the extended family and all that. So how is it real? How is it, or what's the encouragement you are going to give to such a person to invest in, let's say, about 3 important investments?
Thank you very much for that question. And I get that a lot. But the simple thing I'm saying is that, yes, you are earning 1,000 cedis. Have a budget that says, I'll spend 200 cedis on my rent. Okay? I'll spend 200 cedis on my family and extended family. I'll spend another 200 cedis on food and transport for the month. I'll spend another 200 cedis on my tithes and other miscellaneous. Now you are left with, let's say, 100 cedis or 200 cedis. Can you invest even 20 Ghana cedis into a mutual fund with, let's say, company A? Why don't you put 10 cedis also in another mutual fund in another company? Why don't you also put another 10 cedis in another mutual fund in another company? So in a nutshell, you've invested 40 Ghana cedis out of 1,000. That will not kill you. And that is why I said start small. Because when you start with that, and the basis is there, and the foundation is strong, by the time you start earning 5,000, you will understand how to push the 10 cedis to 200, the 20 cedis to 400, and the other 30 cedis to 300 Ghana. But at that little income, if you don't allow the principles to guide you, and you are waiting for a 5,000 salary, by the time you realize you are old and you are retiring. So start small. If it is 10 cedis you can invest in 3 investment accounts, go ahead and do it. And say, my salary is 1,000, I can't invest more than 30 cedis. That is fine. I'm okay with you. I'm happy for you. Because by the time next year comes, and by God's grace, your salary gets increased to 2,000, you can now move from 10 cedis to, let's say, 100, 100, 100. But don't be scared about your expenses. Treat the investment like an expense itself. How there is pressure from home, let investment also put pressure on you, and just say that, oh, wifey, me, I'm not earning 1,000 cedis, so I'm earning 900 cedis. Why? You've invested 100 cedis deducted from source. I'm not earning 1,000, I'm earning 900. So let's do all our expenses, let's do all our budgeting on 900 and not on 1,000. Why? I have set 100 cedis aside for tomorrow. And it's just like, Ben, it's just like somebody saying, I'm earning 800, my money is small. The person who earns 1,000 also says, my money is small. But there's a difference of 200 cedis. If you tell the 800, you are earning 1,000, you are complaining. Me that I am earning 800, I am not complaining. it is not about how much you earn. It's about how much you are willing to put aside. In this country, I have seen people jump quickly from one salary to the other, and their jobs came crashing on them, and now they don't have jobs. Why? Because their focus or their main goal was to get a company that doubles their salary or triples their salary. Don't be motivated by money. Be motivated by a genuine interest to solve a problem. When you do that, money will become the end product. Thank you.
Wow, that's so awesome. Thank you for this answer you have given us. It's so amazing how you have been able to speak to us, and it's very encouraging. At this point, we are going to leave you because you have another lineup program that you are supposed to be there, and you are the host. So maybe you have to give us your numbers or your contact details, that if somebody wants your book, the person can be able to contact you and then have a copy. And then also, maybe you can also tell us where your office is, so that if anybody wants to invest, can also walk in there and then make his inquiries and then start an investment with you.
Thank you. So in just 1 minute, I would like to say that thank you for the opportunity. If you want to reach out to me, you can get me on WhatsApp 0277 55 6211. 0277 55 6211. Send me a WhatsApp if you want a copy of the book. If you have any questions that couldn't get answered. You can also find me in Jowlu. Jowlu, we are around Ifie locals. You can find the HMI Management Services office there. You can also find my personal office at North Legon Hacho, and a couple of other places. Just reach out to me on 0277 55 6211. And let's continue the conversation, and let's see how best you can connect. And you can also get a copy of that book. Send me a WhatsApp 0277 55 6211. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Albert. We are excited that we're able to have you on this show amidst all your heavy duties. I mean, it's not easy to get a CEO to come on your program. So we are so much grateful, and then we are hoping to have you more on our program. So we just want to say thank you. So Albert, all the best in all that you are doing, and then we pray for God's grace that you'll be able to break grounds and impact more lives. So audience, this is how far. I will take it.
Yeah, thank you, Benjamin, and thank you for the great work that you are doing to be able to revolutionize the minds of people concerning money. And I love the idea, money read. Continue to do it. It's tough and it's difficult. I have walked that path, and I would say, but it's fulfilling at the end of the day. So I could run programs like this. You are done and you are broke, yet something tells you keep doing it. So all I want to leave you is that keep doing it. One day you may never know where it will land you.
All right. Thank you so much, Albert, for the encouragement, encouraging words. So, audience, this is how far God has brought us, and I believe you have learned a lot from this great man, Albert Kusi. And then I want to still invite you. Next week, we are going to have another speaker coming on board, and then this speaker is going to speak to us on money or financial literacy. So you don't want to miss it, and you want to be around. Please invite a friend. Just find a way. Go to the address bar on top of your browser, whether you're using a laptop or a mobile phone. Just copy the link, send it to a friend, and tell a friend that, look, I have this interesting program that is ongoing in this month of August, and I want you to partake in this program. And so we want you to invite somebody. Let it be something that people will be impacted with, people will enjoy, so that you can also be an impactor. You can also be a Barnabas. You understand? So, audience, thank you so much for joining, and catch you same time next week. Bye-bye.